wasn't me!
Hi, I'm Doc Owen with Action Figure Times. We're continuing on with Legion Week with basically a quad of reviews that I think you're going to enjoy. We're continuing along the top row of the Legion pack. If you don't know what I'm talking about please make sure you go back and go to the first review where we show you the packaging and stuff, because it's really worth looking at. It's pretty awesome. Now, who we're going to be looking at today is Chameleon Boy, Brainiac 5, Proty, and I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be 1 or 2. I was actually looking for something on there. And then a Legion flight ring. But, and really they all kind of go together, because Brainiac 5, as you know, invented the Legion flight ring, at least according to most continuities. And then Chameleon Boy had Proty as a pet. Proty 1 or Proty 2. It doesn't really matter which one. Except, I guess, in the adult Legion stories where Proty was kind of ticked at him, and so he was now Saturn Girl's pet. If he wasn't running for political office or being a photographer or stuff, it's kind of odd how that guy can have so many jobs. But anyway, as you go across, Proty and the ring are in the middle, and then we go over to Brainiac 5 and to Reapdaggle, Chameleon Boy. So we'll go ahead and let's just get started with Chameleon Boy first, kind of start at the end and work our way back. He comes out of there fairly easily. Now, for those of you who do not know, I don't know if it's still true in current continuity, but Reapdaggle is actually R.J. Brand's son, who's also a Durlurian, and so with he was one of the key members, really, of the Legion. He's a member of the covert squad that they have. That's you know, they're always sneaking around getting info. I think he looks good. Nice tight paint job. Of course, there's not a whole lot to mess up on him. He's basically just a head for the rest of them. He can change in any sort of form. He looks good all the way around. And, you know, he's a cool figure. He had to be included because he's one of those guys that when you see him, you think Legion, which I think he's a great guy. He's a shapeshifter. For those of you who don't know, that's probably one of the reasons he and Proty get along so well. Now, Brainiac 5, the sometimes beau of Supergirl when she's hanging out in the far distant future. I think one of the funniest things in the Justice League Unlimited was when Supergirl went to the future and she starts hanging out and decides to stay, and they come and, you know, she starts getting her groove on with Brainiac 5, and then she says, and then when they come back, they explain to Superman she's not coming back and that she's found a boy that she really likes, and then he asks the question, well, what's his name? And then everybody's kind of stumped, because, I mean, hey, if you heard the name of your greatest enemy, you probably, or not your greatest enemy, that's an over-exaggeration. I don't know that Brainiac would be his greatest enemy, but certainly a pain in his butt. You wouldn't be too cool about that. I love the expression on Brainy's face. I think it does convey his arrogance. You know, he's got his force shield belt that seems to do more things in the current continuity. You know, I like his classic look. I kind of like the coat he wears sometimes. That's kind of cool. Of course, I like long coats and stuff like that. I think that, you know, I'm glad they didn't make him look like in his crazy days. But I really do like this figure. It gives us a good representation of the character. Him, I think I definitely would have had open hands for rather than fists. Well, except for where he has his Legion flight ring. I think that would have been all right. Because, you know, he wasn't known to just go around and knock heads and stuff. You know, he was more the technological side of things, even though I think if he'd had the, you know, I'm glad he never had Superboy's powers, because I think he would have gone around and knocked people around just trying to enforce what he wanted. But all in all, I think it's a good figure. I think that it's sharp paint job, nice belt. I think it really conveys the classic look of who Brainy is. Now, let's go on and look at Proty. And I'm going to be showing all you guys all these up close, so you don't have to be concerned about that. Wow, he's probably the toughest one coming out of this thing. Now, Proty does not, for somebody that is a shapeshifter, he doesn't move at all. This was actually a clever idea, because all you had to do was take a match to some plastic and hey, you got Proty. So if he's Proty 1, he's destined to die so that he can become Garth Rand's the Lightning Lad, which I always thought was kind of a bummer. You know, when they came out with that story about how Proty 1 actually Garth never came back. Proty's consciousness was just transferred into him, and since he'd been digging Saturn Girl. But Proty 2, kind of an interesting character. It's kind of strange how somebody that's, you know, a sentient being actually becomes a pet, and yet, like, he's able to save his friends' lives and stuff. I'm not talking about like Lassie. I'm talking about, like, you know, changing his shape to become them, tricking Saturn Girl into hiding in a cave. It's just kind of odd that you would make somebody like that a pet, but does pretty good. I think that it's not like they can hold hands or anything, but they kind of go together really well. And it really is. It's just a blob. But it looks just like him. I mean, just like him. And then finally, the coveted piece of Valorium. Valorium is a metal that they synthesized from the nth metal that the Thanagarians used for their, you know, their flighting and stuff, for their flight and stuff. But this is actually 24 karat gold plated. I asked Toy Guru why that was, why they went that direction. They said very simply, we didn't want it to flake off. We want it to actually be something that was substantial. There is some weight to this ring. Now, I'm going to wait and test it. I don't feel any lighter, really. And nobody else must have their ring on, because I don't seem to be able to communicate with anybody. Toy Guru, are you there? Toy Guru? Hello? No, it just doesn't seem to be working. And I bet he has his on. Anyway, it fits fairly well on my ring finger. It fits even better on the middle, like I was wearing a Lantern's ring. It's got the current Legion emblem. I guess it fits very well. It's got the current Legion emblem right there. I'm probably going to wait to test this out when you all aren't around, but I didn't see anything on the package that says does not empower the user to fly, so if I get a chance, I'll let you know how it goes. But anyway, let's look at this stuff close up. So here we are looking at Cam. It's good to have the espionage squad, you know, represented. We've got Invisible Kid and with Cam. You know, I think if I was a shapeshifter, I don't know that I would go for this look. I would probably look for something a little bit different. I mean, but it is better than his normal Durlan form. Durlurian, whatever. Anyway, you can see the scallop on his uniform. That looks good. This is pretty simplistic overall. That's one of the reasons I think they were able to make this set, is because they all, you know, have very similar body styles and things. I actually do really like this sculpt. I think they did a good job with the hair and everything. I think it conveys a little bit of his arrogance without making him look crazy. I think the uniform is good. Force shield belt is nice. Got his Legion ring there. I like how they made so many wrinkles in his uniform. Really makes it look in. Now he does suffer from the plastic. You see how this looks more painted and this is more the molded plastic. I don't like that. I think that they could have probably fixed that. But all in all, he's a very, very cool figure. I mean, he ought to be if he's able to score a babe like Supergirl, right? So here we are looking at Proty up close. You can tell, I mean, I don't think this was that complicated to make, but sometimes it's hard to make something look like nothing. Very cool. Does not move at all, but he's good to have with the Legion. This is very cool inclusion for several reasons. One, if you ever wanted to buy one of these like the DC Direct, they can be quite expensive. Very neat. Does fit fairly well on there. Very cool. I do think it's one of Brainy's greatest creations, simply because, hey, if they could give me a ring that could help me fly, I'd do it. Now this one, I've been testing it out. I haven't really been able to fly all that much, not really able to communicate with too many people, but I don't know how many people have these yet. As you know, these things weren't just for flight. They were able to let the Legionnaires communicate with each other, also kind of a GPS system. And if you were watching Smallville, they were also a time travel device. But every time I go back, I get somewhere around just before Terra Nova, and there's nothing really to see there. Anyway, this is Doc Owen with Action Figure Times. Legion Week is not over. Make sure you tune in tomorrow.